Probably should have stretched before I started the stream. Hi guys, how are you? Welcome to Monkey in the Morning. I'm your host, the Ranting Monkey. It's, I think, Sunday. I lost 2 whole days, or gained 2 whole days. I'm not sure how that really works, but all day today, I thought it was Monday. All day Saturday, I guess, because we are technically on Sunday now. But just all day, I was like, I would swear this was Monday. How did I get a whole weekend? This is what happens when you're an unemployed cripple. Time just is something you can't fathom most of the time. Anyhow, hope you're well. Welcome to Monkey in the Morning. And we're going to have some fun. We're going to talk about our lying press again, because good God, man, fuck. It's like these people want me to make fun of them. I don't know how they're still the same shitbags that they've always been. Let me turn that off. I don't want to hear myself. I love me, but I don't want to hear myself. Let's start, I guess, with the Biden is demented thing, because it's amazing how many of these reporters are acting like they had no clue. Nobody saw this coming. I mean, he might have lost a step here or there. We didn't realize he was this bad. And I want you guys to be clear on this. They are not protecting themselves. It's kind of that, but they really don't give a shit about their reputation because they get to set their own reputation. They get to pat each other on the back and go, yeah, you do great reporting. Here, have a meaningless award we named after some dude who once worked at a newspaper. And so it doesn't matter how much they fuck up. They could come out and say the sun is made out of cheese and what we're seeing is just a fondue pot in the sky, and not lose any credibility because they'd just be allowed to get away with it. And then their next story, everybody be, oh, this is amazing. Can you believe that they wrote this? And so there's never any check on him. There's really not. He lost his step walking on fucking stairs. That is true. That is true. And like I said, to be fair, I do that as well. But I have an excuse. I'm crippled. I have a debilitating spinal injury. He's just old and addled. But yeah, so we have them all pretending. No, we had no idea that he was mentally unwell in any way. It's a complete mystery to me. Thank you, Hate Camo, for becoming a member for month number 12. I just realized when I say becoming a member, it almost sounds like I'm calling you a penis. Member is a slang for penis. So I'm not calling you a penis. The press are a bunch of clueless liars. I'm shocked. Shocked, I say. Hello, chat. Hello, monkey. Hello, Hey Cam. Hope you're well, my friend. Have you tried walking off the back end? Yeah, it don't work at all, man. Not even a little bit. Today was so bad. This just as an aside, and please feel no pity for me. I'm fine. But today was so bad. I was walking through a store and I was getting so much pain. I had to stop walking. And so I just stand still for a little bit. And then standing there caused me so much pain. I had to start moving. It was a pain in the ass. It really, really was. But I'm alive and happy, so I'm not gonna bitch about it. It was just weird. I was not expecting that. Now, I had an article open that I wanted to talk about, and my dumb ass closed it. So I have to sit here and say words to try to keep you guys entertained until I open that article back up, which I have to find first. See, this is how you do it in the business. You just keep talking until you have the stuff you want. This is the article, you son of a bitch. All right. This is an article from ABC News, and it concerns a little going on that's been blowing up in the media sphere, where it turns out the Biden administration, this is going to shock the shit out of you guys, the Biden administration has been sending out questions to interviewers. Now, I thought we already knew this. I mean, this was exposed with the Harry Sison interview. Do you guys know about that? That little punk ass piece of shit over on Twitter and TikTok. He got an exclusive interview with Joe Biden, and somebody did a Freedom of Information request on any communications between the White House and Harry. And yeah, it turns out the questions that he asked during his totally unbiased interview were all ones that the White House sent. And even asked, can I ask my own questions? Like, yeah, you really need to stick to the script. But everybody's suddenly acting like this is brand new news. And it goes even further back than that fucking idiot. Two local radio hosts say they were given questions ahead of Biden interview by Olivia Rubin. Now, I saw this because Jonathan Karl, who also works at ABC News, tweeted out, just to be clear, this shouldn't happen. Dun, dun, dun. Keep that in mind. This shouldn't happen. Like it's a brand new fucking thing. Like it's a shock to the whole world. Before we move on and get to the article, I just want to point out that when Obama was president, they literally had weekly meetings with the press. Behind the scenes, this is stuff that had to leak out. Behind the scenes discussions about what the press should talk about that week. And week after week after week, it's what they talked about. All of these people are acting like they're just now finding out that there's collusion between Democrats and the press. Like, no, how dare you? We didn't know that was going on. Anyway, a second local radio host on Saturday told ABC News that he was provided a list of questions in advance of his interview with President Joe Biden this week. Now, this all blew up because I think it was on CNN. I could find the clip, but I'm too fucking lazy. There's a black female radio host who's on, I don't know what show it was, but she says, hey, yeah, I was given the questions that I could ask. I got to choose what questions to ask, though. Yeah, from a fucking pre-approved list. It was a pre-approved list. But no, I totally got to choose the questions. Okay. Yes, I was given some questions from Biden. Earl Ingram of Civic Media told ABC News. Ingram, a prominent host of a Wisconsin radio station, interviewed Biden this week in the wake of his debate performance. Ingram said he was given 5 questions and ended up asking 4 of them. I didn't get a chance to ask all the things I wanted to ask, he said. Huh. Well, I don't know what to tell you. You were the interviewer. You had him there. Look, even if you agree, these are the questions we're going to ask. Once he's in the chair, you can ask him whatever the hell you want to. Worst case, Biden comes in or somebody from Biden's team comes in and goes, hey, ask those questions. And then you get a viral moment. Then you can put that shit up on the internet and go, we are the ones who stood up to Biden. Nah, nobody's going to stand up to Biden because they're all in his pocket. Thank you, Dark Resurrect, for that feminist $12. That's why they hated Steve. I can't spell his last name. Because he would throw them questions they weren't ready for. Oh, you're talking about Ducey? Yeah. Isn't it Doocie, I think? Chaos One, when the show was off. Thank you so much. It's yesterday morning. The problem with modern feminism is that X happens, women most affected thing, isn't a joke. I was going to try to be funny and say women most affected, but that kind of seems like something they would say, and it's just sad. It's absolutely something they would say. It's absolutely something they'd say. Oh, but yeah, they didn't like Steve Ducey because he would ask whatever, and you can see it on Corinne's face anytime, and going back to Jen Psaki as well. But anytime Steve was about to ask a question, they would sigh like, "Oh fuck, we got to ask Steve now. We got to ask Steve what he wants to ask us." But even then, I question that. I just want to be clear, and we'll get to that later. Ingram is the second interviewer who says they were provided questions by Biden aides to ask the president this week. Earlier today, another radio host who interviewed Biden told that they were given questions to ask before the interview. Ingram told ABC he didn't see anything necessarily wrong with the practice. To think that I was going to get an opportunity to ask any question to the president of the United States, I think is a bit more than anybody should expect. You're you're on the radio, you do interviews. Why are we putting the president so much higher? To think that I would get a chance to ask him a question. He's not the fucking king. I realize he thinks he's just below Jesus. We saw that shit yesterday. But he's not. He's just a dude. To think I got to ask him any question. I was lucky to suckle at his tits. What are you talking about? I was so lucky. What up, Jack? How you doing, man?
Not bad. How you doing?
Oh, wonderful. Just wonderful.
Excellent.
Yeah. So this guy's pretending that I see nothing wrong with them telling me what I'm allowed to ask because, damn it, I'm lucky to ask them anything. You're a tool. And I mean that both in the literal and figurative sense. You're a tool for them and you're a fucking dick. You're not interviewing him if they give you the questions. You're literally just being their mouthpiece and setting him up to give his campaign speech. Oh, we're totally shocked this happens in the industry. You saw this shit, right, Jack?
Oh yeah, I tweeted about it earlier.
He continued. He continued that he was grateful for the opportunity to interview Biden at all. Certainly, the fact they gave me this opportunity meant a lot to me. To literally be their puppet. I don't understand what opportunity he thinks he was getting there. Oh, apparently it was Peter Ducey. The Steve thing came from the super chat. I was just going with it. But anyway, do you see that as an opportunity other than proving that you're a loyal little lapdog who'll do whatever they say?
I mean, there's a lot of opportunity in being a toady.
I mean, there is, but you can't then call it an interview because it's not.
Well, it's sort of an interview. It's just a one-way interview. It's a deception. It's a lie, but technically, it probably is an interview because they're interviewing themselves.
I mean, it's scripted at that point. That's not an interview.
Yeah, I agree that it's not an honest interview, but we used to have to do these self-interviews for like communications classes, and that's kind of what these are. It's just
if these were
setting yourself up for success.
If these were interviews that Biden was doing himself, pitch meeting style, sure, but they're having somebody else ask those questions.
I would pay money to watch that, by the way.
I would too. It would be fun to see which was harder to understand, the question or the answer.
Yes. I mean, when neither of them makes sense, it's just going to be gold.
On CNN earlier Saturday, Andrea Lawful Sanders, you can't just put lawful in your name. I'm sorry. That just makes me think you're guilty of something, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, it makes me think you're chaotic evil.
That's like calling yourself Honest Steve. Like, oh, that's a dirty liar right there.
Yeah. Who's going to sell me a car while stealing my wallet?
Right. But anyway, Andrea Lawful Sanders, the host of Word, WURDs, the source said Biden officials provided her with a list of 8 questions ahead of an interview. The questions were sent to me for approval. I approved of them.
At least she's like the most honest person in this story because she actually admitted that they sent her the questions.
The guy above admitted it too. He was the second who has done so now. We got 2 more later on. We'll get to it. But even there, they sent the questions for my approval. They were not sending them for your approval, sweetheart.
No, they may have said that, like, oh, we're going to let you look at these. But if you don't ask these questions, you are never getting an interview again.
Yeah. These are the questions you're allowed to ask, is what that was.
Yeah. You could pick from these questions. You don't even get to ask all of them.
I got several questions, 8 of them, she continued. And from that, and the 4 that were chosen were the ones that I approved. You didn't think to ask any of your own questions? Somebody said we had a birthday. Who is it? Wes's birthday was on the 4th. Could I get a belated song? Well, Wes, this one is for you. And a 1 and a 2. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Wes. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, Wes. I hope you had a great one. I really, really do.
Indeed.
Yeah, and thanks for getting our attention on that, guys.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not watching chat right now. Sorry,
Well, I
guys.
can, especially on ones where I'm reading, it's very hard to even pay attention to chat.
Yeah, with the news
And
stories, it's exceptionally hard.
the only reason I saw it is because they use my full name and I have the YouTube. If I did like I normally did and don't have YouTube open, I wouldn't have saw it this time either. I just caught the orange box it puts around your name.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I do that too sometimes.
Anyway, responding to Lawful Sanders, Biden campaign spokesperson Lauren, does that say hit? Don't hit Lauren. Said in a statement that it's not uncommon for interviewers to share topics they would prefer. You didn't share topics, you gave them questions.
Ooh.
It's one thing to say, Biden would really like to talk about the economy with you. It's an entirely different thing to go, all right, what we want you to ask him is, how have you managed to make the economy so good? Those are entirely different things. And frankly, you shouldn't even be saying like, hey, this is what he wants to talk about. We're talking about the president here, not, some fucking celebrity who's got a new book coming out on their favorite taco dishes. This is the president of the United States. It should be an open forum.
It should be, but here we are.
It's not uncommon for them to want to share about the topics they prefer. She noted that Lawful Sanders was, quote, free, unquote. I don't know why you'd have to put that in quotes.
Well, free in the sense they're allowed to do what we tell them to.
She was free to ask whatever she wanted. To ask any questions she saw fit. She also noted that it was the campaign that sent over the questions and not the White House, as other reports have claimed. It said Biden aides at the top when talking about the first guy, about Ingram.
Mm-hmm.
Biden aide. They didn't say campaign aides or White House aides. They just said Biden aides, which would explain his deteriorating health. But thank you for giggling at that. I don't. We'll get to that again in a minute. I have some proof that that's probably bullshit. But let's move on. It's not at all uncommon practice for interviewees to share topics they would prefer. These questions were relevant to the news of the day. The president was asked about his debate performance as well as what he delivered for Black Americans, the statement said. Well, let me ask you a question. Did you have any white presenters, any white people out there that he was interviewed by? Did you send them questions about what Biden had done for Black people? It's relevant to the day, Jack, so it should be relevant regardless of the audience, yeah?
One would think, but I think we know how this really works.
That almost sounds like direct campaigning. I wonder if they're having to file new paperwork with the FCC or the FEC. Sorry,
that only applies to Trump.
We do not condition interviews on acceptance of these questions. That's not what the Harry Sison leak showed. The hosts are always free to ask the questions they think will best inform their listeners. All right. Let's pretend that this person honestly believes what they're saying here. You're a radio host, and the White House sends you, the campaign sends you a list of questions they want you to ask Biden. You'd rather ask him uncomfortable questions that are meaningful. Which of those choices is more likely to get you invited to ask Biden more questions in the future? They pretend like there's nothing. Like, hey, look, there's no reason they couldn't have asked their own. Are you kidding? If they upset Biden, you blacklist them. Be honest. They totally were free, like we freed the Black people. That was Republicans. They were emancipated to ask any question they wanted.
Then we Jim Crowed them into submission.
Fuck, man. In addition to these interviews, the president also participated in a press gaggle yesterday, as well as an interview with ABC. Americans have had several opportunities to see him unscripted since the debate.
Right.
Right.
Is that
Yeah.
what the kids are calling it?
How many of Stephanopoulos' questions, which, by the way, were softballs, did he actually answer? Maybe 3?
Maybe.
A source familiar with Biden's booking operation told ABC News that moving forward, they will refrain from offering suggested questions to interviewers. Why? There's no problem with the practice. It's not uncommon. They just told us that.
Yeah.
So what's the big
they
deal?
shouldn't have been doing it to begin with.
Absolutely. But the person who says that they're not going to do this anymore just told us it was no big deal. And we had a host who was like, yeah, this is common. So why change it? Why not just say, hey, this is common? What are you guys mad about? Because they know they got caught doing something wrong.
Yeah.
Anyhow, I wanted to move on to, is it this guy? Yeah, there we go. Another local radio host, Sherwin Hughes in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, said that when he interviewed Biden last month, the White House did not send him questions to ask. And he said there were no preconditions on the interview. None of that at all, he told ABC News.
Well,
he said beforehand.
Video host.
Wait for it. He said beforehand he and the White House did discuss general topics he wanted to cover during the interview.
Okay.
Fuck. So you were pre-approved. I mean, am I reading that wrong?
No, that. Fuck's sake.
Wait, it gets even better. They did discuss the general topics he wanted to cover, including the Affordable Care Act, and the White House relayed what it described as, quote, the message points they wanted to communicate, including
so they didn't give him specific questions, just topics.
Yes, specific topics. And including how Biden differed from Trump, which I would argue goes past topics and very pointed campaigning.
Yeah, I've never heard of Trump doing this.
Darian Morgan, who goes by the name Big Tigger. Sorry, that's Tigger. There's 2 G's. On Atlanta's V1.
Oh, there's no N there. My bad.
No N. No. On Atlanta, Biden might have called it that, but no.
Yeah, I would love to see the outtakes of that. You know, Biden's got the N-word on the video somewhere.
On Atlanta's V103, interviewed Biden in May and told ABC News that he was sent sample questions, but it was never a directive to stick to them.
Yeah, whatever. Shut up. Sample questions. Who does that?
They did send me sample questions, but by no means was there an absolute directive to stick to those questions. They don't ask this guy how many of those questions he asked. My guess would be only those questions.
Probably.
In the 2 that we know about, the 2 that admitted that they were given the questions that they had to ask, totally could choose their own adventure.
Yeah, just choose your own adventure, monkey.
They both were given more questions than they asked, but they still only asked the approved questions. So,
yeah. I mean, those were good ideas. They were just suggestions.
Yeah. It's
like the mafia gives good suggestions.
I was gonna ask this in this exact wording. That is amazing.
I was thinking about paying you guys protection money.
Jesus,
seemed really, really helpful at the time. I'm glad you guys came here. I was just thinking about that.
I wanted to take us back to April of last year, Jack.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because the press is all acting shocked by this. I can't believe this practice is happening. This is April 27th of 2023 from Newsweek. White House defends Biden's cheat sheet with reporters' questions. So Biden got up and did a press conference. We talked about this at the time.
Yeah.
And it turned out somebody accidentally, and it was an accident, accidentally took a picture right there that we see on your screen. And on it are the questions that reporter was going to ask.
Oh, weird. It's almost like they knew.
But it's okay because at the end of this article, Corinne Jean-Pierre is quoted as saying, you know what? Let's just. I don't want to take her out of context here. Let's.
Something kill Bart
No.
Simpson.
Yeah, I think it. No, that's not it. It's in here somewhere. We do not have specific questions in advance. She said that before the press conference featuring the president, the White House reaches out to a number of reporters who they know will be in attendance before deciding who has not been called on to ask questions in some time. All right, that's fine. But how did Biden have the questions?
Yeah. How did he know what questions they were going to ask? It's a dodge. It's a very clever dodge.
Yeah. And there was another part. I don't know if it's in this one or another one that I read. But where she points out the question wasn't asked in that exact same wording. So it's not the same thing.
Oh. So it has to be exact or it doesn't count.
Yeah. Just because it was mostly the same. Oh yeah, but no, they never actually cheat, man. It's fuck.
It's not cheating, it's a misdirection of reality.
But these reporters, this is from April of last year, and they're acting like questions in advance. I mean, do you think if they said, I'm going to ask him this really hard question about an uncomfortable topic, that they would be chose for that time?
Yes, totally, monkey.
We've mentioned a couple of times, there's been 2 or 3 examples throughout the years where the press has asked pertinent, pointed, I would even say almost hard questions. We saw it the other day on the first one after the debate. And we've also mentioned that they do it for about a day or two, and then they go right back into just sucking Biden's balls.
Well, yeah, I mean, they do love to cup his nuts.
Their questions are like, how is the president so awesome all the time?
Oh, it's true. How is he so transparent and amazing?
He looked tired. Was he tired from being so awesome? I mean, that's literally what Stephanopoulos asked.
Well,
you did all that stuff. Is that what made you so tired?
It was being around that bad old orange man, wasn't it?
It's fucking insane, man. They get cut off and denied any access at all. Absolutely. The only reason they let Ducey get away with it for so long is because it's Fox News, and that's when they just can't get around. Fox News is too big. And,
yeah, it's a major player, so they kind of have to let them have a question.
Yep. So even in that instance, I think it's kind of like they did with the one the other day. Every so often, they know that there's something that they cannot completely cover. So for transparency's sake, they're like, all right, we'll have a rough one today. Ask hard questions today. And then it's immediately right back to the jerking him off stuff.
Yeah.
It's really sad. It really is. And then I've seen so many articles today about how the press just didn't know about Biden's mental decline. Like, there was one, they actually, what was the wording they used? They were duped. The media had been duped.
Dude.
Like, no, you've been lying.
Yeah, we all know you guys knew this. Stop playing around.
You're the ones who've excused literally every instance. You have fucking fact checkers come out. You did it with the one when he got lost in Normandy watching the parachuters.
Yeah. I'm going to go jump. I want to do a parachute.
You're like, it's totally a cheap fake. Corinne told us so.
Yeah.
Even though apparently we told Corinne that. I can't believe they let her get away with that shit.
Well, she's a black lesbian, so.
Yeah, you can't question them at all.
Her status on the progressive stack is way higher than theirs.
Look, you guys have been watching this show long enough that if you still believe in the press, that you're not double checking everything they say, then I can't even help you.
Yeah.
I don't know how many more examples we can give. But yeah, they're lying right now. And again, please understand, they're not even lying to protect themselves. They are lying to protect the Democrats' chances in 2024. Because they can lie with impunity. There's no consequence for them having. When was the last time a major reporter, got a pushback that harmed their career in a major way? Dan Rather?
Oh, yeah. He fucked up really bad, though. Like an obvious.
And in today's world, he'd get away with it.
Yeah.
I mean, he has tried to have something of a comeback, and it's been as successful as you might expect for an old man trying to use social media.
Yeah.
But anyone else? I mean, who got fired over the Smollett story? Who got fired over the Covington story?
Yeah, that's true.
Who got fired over the Russia hoax? Who got fired? They lie constantly, and they always get away with it. What they're trying to protect here is not themselves. Brian Williams, was that somebody? Brian Williams didn't get it for being wrong. He got it for molesting women. That's the official line.
So yeah, it's like Cuomo. You fuck up too many times and get exposed, they find a reason to get rid of you.
Yeah. It wasn't because he had a bad story that he got called out for. Tucker Carlson, I mean, I suppose you could do that with the Dominion story. You could say that's why they did it, and that it was for being wrong. Yeah, maybe Carlson. I'll give you that one if we're going by the official narratives.
Yeah, I'm not sure he was wrong, though.
2 in 20 plus years? Out of how many of these people?
Ugh.
Anyhow, Tucker got it for defying the narrative. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I forgot what topic I was going to next, and there was a pertinent one. Oh, Project 2025. Jesus Christ.
Did you check out that website like I told you?
I did. There's nothing there.
Yeah, it's a fucking joke. You know who was behind this, by the way?
Who?
Heritage Foundation.
Oh, yeah. I thought that maybe that this was somebody doing a deep fake kind of thing. Yeah, it's clear on all the things. It says Heritage Foundation.
Yeah, well, what surprised me was that they're this lazy about it. Like, this is such a poorly constructed conspiracy theory.
Well, the conspiracy that I don't even know what the conspiracy is. I honest to God don't. I don't understand what everybody's pretending to be all pissed off about.
Oh, because this is Donald Trump's authoritarian narrative, monkey.
Well, here's what it boils down to. Project 2025 is an initiative to get conservative-minded people in position to be able to be appointed to departments that the president would have control over. They're going to fire 50,000 people and replace them with Trump loyalists. I'm okay with that. He's the president of the United States.
Most administrations do.
Yes. I mean, you don't do it with your lower level people. That tends to take a while to filter them out.
Yeah.
Usually it's your department heads and stuff.
Yeah. This has become a very popular, boogeyman of the left.
It has. And it's weird.
Did you see? Joy Reid's made a couple of videos about this on TikTok. And they're just unhinged nonsense.
Project 2025 sounds awesome, to be honest. It's amazing. I said this on Twitter. You have Biden just absolutely collapsing. And suddenly this Project 2025 has come out of nowhere. This has been around for almost a year, I think it is.
Something like that. It's such a lazy looking website, too. Look at that.
It really is.
If I just stumbled on this on my own, I would think they were trying to steal my identity.
This book is an invitation for the read. This really actually does sound like a push to buy this book.
Yeah. Oh, it probably is.
Like one of those get rich quick books that they used to sell in the 90s internet.
Yeah. Yeah. These rhinos need the money right now.
I also want to point this out because the first I heard of Project 2025 concerned this right here, where it says, this book is an invitation for you, the reader, Mr. Smith, Mrs. Smith, and Miss Smith, to come to Washington or support those who can. And the person that I saw who said this, I forget who it was, but it was some liberal. And they said, this is them saying that they only want cis-het men. I'm like, what?
Yes,
oh, sorry,
clearly.
cis-het white men. I forgot the white.
How could you forget the white, monkey?
2 of the 3 titles right there, Mr., Mrs., and Miss, 2 of those 3 are used for women exclusively.
Excuse me, women identifying people.
How the hell do you get straight white man from that? Anyone?
They're magically delicious.
Wasn't Mr. Smith Goes to Washington a movie? Yes, and that's the clear reference they're going for there. But yeah, this guy read this, and from that he got cis white men. Like, I think you're retarded.
Well, there are no women Republicans, monkey. I've been told this many, many times.
Our goal is to assemble an army. They say, yeah, it's an insurrection.
See, the wording is fucking terrible on here.
Our goal is to assemble an army of aligned, vetted, trained, and prepared conservatives to go to work on day one to deconstruct the administrative state. Those bastards.
It sounds evil, doesn't it?
It really does. It sounds like they're going to have people get jobs.
Jobs? What? I got to work too? They're going to take away our government funding. They're going to end Social Security.
Faithless says, I think they're reading their own confirmation bias into it.
Right?
Yeah. If you get cis white men from Mr. Smith, Mrs. Smith, and Miss Smith, you wanted to find straight white men in there.
Yeah. Real fast. Thank you, Dark Resurrect, for that feminist donation. According to the left, Project 2025 will force women to have children, ban being gay, at risk of imprisonment or death. Yeah, FEMA camps. Force prayer into school, become a Christian nationalist nation, and deport or kill all minorities. Yep. I'm glad you caught up on your Joy Reid viewing.
Yeah, it's insane. It really is. It's meaningless. At worst, it's a possible policy agenda.
Yeah, a shitty one, too. I mean, this is poorly thought out. Look at the wording on here. Whoever wrote this has like a barely functional understanding of the English language.
To me, it's just, even if I take it entirely at face value, I don't see anything wrong with it.
Well, it's the conspiracy theory part that's the fun. Because the website just sucks. I was just looking at that, like, who made this? Somebody from like 1999?
It's their new boogeyman, though. They always need a boogeyman. And as hard as they've tried, they haven't gotten another Charlottesville. They haven't gotten another January 6th. So now it's got to be this. It's the new world order. Dun,
yeah,
dun,
the Whitmer kidnapping was as close as they got, and that was a fed up.
Yeah. But hey, we don't talk about that.
Oh, yeah, my bad.
Speaking of fed ups, Patriot Front was out again today.
Why?
Because the FBI has to justify their payroll somehow.
Well, you'd think they'd do pretty well with all that kiddie porn they disseminate.
I don't think they get paid for that. I think they just do that for, fun and like-mindedness.
Oh.
Yeah. Because they're a bunch of fucking douchebags. All right, we got a video of our president. I got to turn off the volume though, because Tom Petty's "Don't Back Down" is playing in the background, and I like at least the chance at monetization, Jack.
Yeah, well, the option's nice. Here he comes, President Potato.
This is from Biden's massive crowd the other day. Remember him bragging about the excitement and stuff?
Yeah, all dozens of the people there.
He was talking about this thing, and he's just finished speaking, and he's come off the stage, and he's hugging the crowd and being, look, hi, let's take a picture with you. Oh, you're a Negro. I'm going to pass right past you.
Sorry. No, who let you in here?
How
the look on her face is just so fucking priceless too.
I know, right? And I dejected, yeah. This racist motherfucker passed right over her to hug this lady. Now, I was told this video was out of context.
How?
Well, because do you really want to know?
Yes.
Let's go to the other videotape.
The other dark meat?
The other no, it's actually the same dark meat in this this instance.
I thought there was another black person he was discriminating against. You're getting two different instances mixed up.
No, it is the same one. I just have to find it. I forgot to open it before the stream. Guys, this is what I was talking about earlier, where I sometimes have to fill time because I close things or forget that I wanted to do something. And so I got to go through my what's the word here?
Browser history?
Activity.
Oh, activity.
Activity,
Oh, that
yeah.
sounds dirty.
Doesn't
Are you
it?
touching yourself to that?
I am not touching myself. I wonder if I can find it easier if I just go to YouTube, because I did pull up the full video of this. And it was one of the Krasensteins who's like, this was taken out of context. They don't show where Biden hugs this girl.
Does he? Because I didn't see that in any of the versions I saw.
Well, not exactly. So the clip that we just watched is from after Biden's like 2 or 3 minute remarks that he gave at this particular event.
Yeah.
All right. So here are the same people. Okay. There's the fat guy that he was shaking hands with over here on the left at the end of at the beginning of the last video.
Mm-hmm.
At the last video, he's going from left to right. He's coming in now from right to left.
Ew.
Hang on. Let's, we don't need the audio for this. He's shaking hands. This old lady, who, by the way, is the one that he hugs afterwards to skip the black girl. I don't know. I don't know if you watch her hands. She's like, come here, give it to me. Give me some sugar, baby. Give me some of that sugar. Oh, yeah, baby.
I want some of that dementia sugar.
All right. So here's the black girl, very excited right now. Big old smile on her face. She can't believe that of all of the black people in Wisconsin, only 2 of them were allowed here. And she got to be one of them.
Yeah, I mean, that's exciting.
Wait.
You're going to meet the president. I mean, I understand that. She's a supporter.
That was the hug right there.
That was it. That sad little side hug thing.
Yeah, she gives him a big old hug. He kind of wraps his arm around her as he looks at the rest of the audience going, where are the white people?
Yeah, he's not even looking at her. She's beneath him. He was like, you need to pet my leg hair.
Let's watch it in slow motion. He's not even looking at her right now. He was looking at fat guy. He really likes this fat guy. He's like, how did Negro get in here? There's a little hug. And immediately he starts looking behind her.
Wow.
But don't worry, guys.
Such a piece of shit.
Him completely blowing her off at the end. How dare you guys point that out and suggest that race has anything to do with it?
Right? You monsters.
I mean, look, she looks like she's clinging to him for dear life.
Oh, she wants to give him a hug. That's her hero, you know.
And he's over here like, did you know Bo?
Are you one of my illegitimate grandchildren?
It's just fuck, man. And it's really funny because when Krasenstein plays the clip, it's literally a second of this. He doesn't even play the whole thing. And that's what made me go dig up the full thing anyway. But yeah, our racist president being racist, shocking.
Yeah, I'm super shocked.
The man who called Robert Byrd his mentor. He taught me to be racist. I had been hanging out with black people on their porch until I met Robert Byrd, who taught me better.
They were teaching him the Puerto Rican politics.
They really were.
While he was getting arrested for the civil rights stuff.
I'm honestly shocked that Biden has never bragged about how much beans and rice he eats. What else?
Maybe he'll carry hot sauce in his purse like Hillary does.
Rod line, God damn it. Rod says that's Corn's sister, Jiffy.
Jimmy Pop. That's a good one.
Oh shit. Oh man. Oh God. You know who Good Logic is? Good Logic is?
I've heard the name. I have a passing understanding of this person.
He's a lawyer. He's one of the YouTube lawyers, and
Yeah.
you know the UK just had an election.
Yeah.
So somebody posts out that Liz Truss is now not only our shortest serving prime minister, she's also the Tory who lost her seat by the largest swing to Labour at a general election in history. And then they put up this little graph showing how the vote went in Liz Truss's district right here.
Okay.
And total turnout says 44,335 people. You're with me so far, right?
Yes, so far.
Well, Joe here, he had some questions about that. The population of the UK is 64 or 67 million. How in the hell are there only 44,000 votes?
What? Really?
Yeah, really. He posted this twice. Not only did he post it here, he reposted the original asking all of this same stuff. Americans, I need y'all to listen to me for a minute. I get it. We're Americans. We don't pay a whole lot of attention to the rest of the world. But
I mean, why would we? The rest of the world sucks compared to us.
That's fair, but if you're going to comment on something like this, it wouldn't take long at all to do minimal research to figure this out.
Sounds like a lot of effort, apparently.
For you Americans, the way that the good logic, poor math skills, no, it's even bad logic. The way that their system works isn't like a presidential election. It's more like a congressional election where people are voted in from all over the country, and then they get together and they come up with whoever the Speaker of the House is going to be. Their prime minister is basically the way our Speaker of the House is chosen. Only 44,000 people vote in this, by the way, out of a population of like 70 to 72,000. So more than half of the people voted. That is just her district. She lost in her district.
What? No, that's not. No, that's said monkey.
I don't even understand how you can be a lawyer and not understand how parliamentary systems work.
Well, he didn't say he was a good lawyer.
How the fuck did you get through law school?
Cribbing Robert's Rules of Order from the Cliff Notes.
You know, there's an old saying about, keeping your mouth shut and letting people think you're an idiot rather than opening your mouth and proving them true.
Yeah, my dad quotes me that a lot.
Yeah, it is an excellent piece of advice. And I run into that so often on YouTube. On Twitter. He didn't have to say anything about this. He could have asked, how come there's only this many? He said, that's like winning the U.S. presidency with 200,000 votes. It's not even close to anything like that. I'm one of those Americans who are like, we don't really have to care about the rest of the world. But how do you not understand a parliament? We have one. It's called Congress. And almost every state has their own version of it. How do you not get this? This is a lawyer. That's a lawyer. Son of a bitch. I was offended at the stupidity of that tweet. So once again, the guy with the GED tops the guys with, much bigger degrees than that.
Now, to be fair, he might have been huffing some cocaine or something with Ricada.
Maybe. But he thought enough of how smart he was there to post that twice, Jack.
Most people think they're smarter than they are. Let's be honest.
And it'd be a whole nother thing if he was just taking the piss, but I really don't think he was.
I don't think so either.
Thank you, Dangerous. At least Joe is shaking hands with people we can see this time. Also, he didn't even really hug that woman. It's like that scene where Spider-Man hugged Iron Man when he was actually getting the door. Oh, yeah. I mean, he does get, you can see him kind of put his arm around her back. I gotta touch one. And I thought, you know what it is? Maybe Joe just didn't think she was one of the clean ones.
Oh, she wasn't articulate enough for him?
It wasn't specifically clean. You don't want to touch dirty things, right?
Yeah, I don't like dirty people.
Yeah, so this isn't one of those clean Negroes like Barack.
Yeah, that's gonna get clipped. Yeah, I mean, look, let's face it, Joe probably doesn't like touching people anyway because they're dirty plebs.
Wait, hang on. Before you even go there, he reached in and gave a big old hug to Granny and then hugged her again on the way out.
He probably thought that was his mom.
He was glad handing the fat guy in the yellow striped shirt.
That's true.
In fact, when he's hugging her, you could see him holding that guy's hand.
Hold my hand for safety, buddy.
It's so bad. So bad. And the people like, he's not racist. Like, have you paid any attention to him?
He's got kind of a track record of it, in fact.
Yeah.
How's that crime bill coming, Joe?
He thinks black people are so different than white people that they're shocked by the idea of leg hair.
Yeah. Well, they did pet his leg hair.
He literally thinks they're a different species. Those black people, they just don't understand leg hair at all. Anyway, what else? Oh God. Okay, we're not going to watch this video. We're going to put this guy on the screen just as a refresher for who he is. I don't even know if this is a new video or if this is one of his older ones. We've discussed this guy before.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I remember we've seen him before.
Yeah, because he's got like a dozen videos where he talks about this very topic. What's up, Nuts? How you doing, sweetie?
Hey, Stargazer.
He's here to tell us that if you like playing with another person's penis, and I say person because he has the whole trans thing going on, not him specifically, but all of his boyfriends,
partners,
playing. If you like playing with penis that's not yours, that's not gay because they identify as a woman.
Yeah, because that's a woman.
That's a woman.
No, dude, you're a homosexual. It's okay. Nobody wants to judge you because nobody cares anymore. I got to worry about where my groceries are coming from. But you're still gay, okay? You're just a homosexual. Just accept it.
And that's kind of why I wanted to bring this up, is because this goes to the whole notion that the trans thing is just to try to get rid of gay people. Bro, you're gay. You like dick.
It's a denialism almost.
He literally says in this that what most people are attracted to with trans women is what's above the waist. But even if you're attracted to what's below the waist, that's not gay. And he's specifically talking pre-op. That's not gay. No, it's totally gay. You're playing with someone else's penis.
It's not just gay, it's hella gay.
It's hella gay. The only way you can get gayer is if you add another penis. So you're playing with two instead of just one, and then it's exponentially gayer. But you do hit a threshold where it's just that's gay and there's no getting around it. But yeah, so he's out there doing it again. Again, I don't know if this is a new video. It just popped up. Everybody was sharing it today.
Yeah, I saw it
but
everywhere.
It's not new from this guy. He has several videos talking about how much he likes to play with wiener.
Yeah, he really just can't accept the fact that he's gay. Like, no, Mom, I'm totally straight. No, you're not, dude. Your mom knew it 20 years ago.
He's making sucking sounds. I'm totally not gay. Yeah, you are, bro.
Your mom knew you were gay when you asked for that easy bake oven, dude. Come on.
It just reminded me of the Ron White joke where he's talking about how he watched an HBO special that was about the porn industry. And in it, they talk about how male porn stars don't make a lot of money when it comes to heterosexual porn. The women make all that money because they're a prop. To make money, they do gay porn. And this one guy says that he was in a scene the day before with 5 guys, and he's not even gay. And Ron goes, "You're gayer than I am."
Right? That's how
Yeah.
John Holmes got the AIDS, by the way.
No. Yeah, they a lot of your male porn stars do that to make money because that's where the money is.
Well, a lot of the male porn stars are gay to begin with because they can last longer. They're not as aroused by what they're putting their wiener in.
Yeah, and when it comes to porn, it is still it's like Star Wars. The audience is male dominated, whether gay or straight. So you're gonna play to that audience. Anyhow, moving along. I don't know what that one is even about. Oh God, yes I do. Jack, I hate you.
Why? What'd I do?
Oh, here, let me put it on the screen. You'll recognize it immediately.
Is this the lion?
See, you even knew, you dick.
Oh, sharing that with you was the highlight of my fucking day. Not even kidding. I was like, I gotta send this to Monkey.
I don't know how copyright would work with this one, so we're just throwing it into chat and we're going to look at it in the general sense. But this person writes this really awkward story where they're a lion. This big mean guy here is one of their coworkers. So this dude during the lion.
Look how effeminate that lion guy is. The furry compared to the big ogreish coworker. Like, oh, I'm so neebish and weak. Also, that arm signal that he's doing right there, that's to let you know that he is one of the leaders of the gang stalking crew.
I need to move this out of the way because it made it look like a tear, which actually should be there. I get what you're getting at with the what are they called again?
Gang stalking.
Gang stalking, yeah. But that posture is actually how very nervous people stand.
Yeah, well, I know that, but this person is obviously very insecure if they're drawing themselves as a weak, thin, emasculated person.
They are not weak. They are kind. Don't mistake their kindness for weakness. He says that at the end.
I will do whatever I want. First of all. Second of all, I'm pretty sure I could bully this dude into giving me his lunch money.
The story is that he was desperate during COVID. He had no job, and that was basically it. So he applied, and he got an interview with a major. Was it a game company? I believe he says a major studio. Either way, so he gets this job or this interview with the major studio, and he goes through all these interviews, and then there's a special interview set up with the main guy who said, "Hey, one of the people who interviewed you said you seemed nervous. Why'd you seem nervous?" Which I don't believe happened.
I don't believe this happened either, because what a weird follow-up. Like, why do you seem so nervous? Now, if you were stopped by a police officer, that's the type of question I would expect. And they ask that whether you look nervous or not, because they're fishing. But when a potential employer's like, why do you seem so nervous? That's a weird thing to ask somebody that you don't know.
So he gives the explanation that he's nervous because it's COVID and he needs money, and he gets the job, Jack. Yay for our hero. However, even though he was never told who it was, it immediately becomes clear which person said he seemed nervous.
Dun, dun, dun!
I have literally done hundreds of job interviews. And I'm not talking about me being the interviewed, the one doing the interview. And I would say at least 50% of the people seem nervous.
Well, yeah, it's an important day for you.
Yeah.
You're trying to present yourself in the best possible light, and the majority of people are not good at that. And you need the job more often than not. So you're going to be a little nervous. You want the job, you want to be able to start this thing, and you're around strangers. There's a lot of reasons to be nervous in a job interview. So it would come with the environment. I'm actually a little more alarmed when people are not nervous at all. Like, you don't want this job.
I'm not nervous in interviews.
Yeah, but
I'm also
You're
I'm also an
hyper.
arrogant bastard.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I was calling you confident because
Well, I mean, that's true too, but I mean, my arrogance doesn't allow me to be nervous like that.
But the only people that you see that aren't nervous are typically people that are either overqualified for the job, are overconfident, or they aren't interested in the job at all. They're just doing it to fulfill a requirement for something else.
The whole idea that they would have a special interview to ask him why he was nervous during a job interview makes no goddamn sense to me.
No, that sounds like a weird place to work if that
But-
actually happened, which I don't think it did.
But let's just start from there, because he makes it seem like there was something nefarious about this person saying he seemed nervous.
Yeah.
It immediately became apparent which one it was. And how did it become apparent? That's the important part. So this is how it became apparent. A couple of months later, they've talked to each other some, and then they're in the break room together. And our cowardly lion here tells this other person, the big, mean, bald guy, my family doesn't really like me. He never says it, but I'm guessing that this is a trans kind of thing. They tell him, the lion tells this other person, my family is very conservative and religious, and I don't really have much of a family anymore because of who I am.
And this probably just gay and didn't vote for Trump.
This bald person, do you know what they said? This is what this fucking prick said. Don't worry about what other people think of you.
That son of a bitch. How is my identity going to be celebrated?
You be you, you do you. Don't worry so much about other people. That's what this fucking bastard told him.
Fucking monster.
You fucking asshole. And they explain later on that that's a sign of some kind of taking control. It's really weird.
Yeah, obviously this person is some sort of self-absorbed narcissist right-wing Trump supporter. Ugh.
But wait, there's more. They, as part of their job, they're going to some convention, and they're going to have a booth there. And our cowardly lion here tells Baldy that they're nervous about it. I don't know why they would have thought you were a nervous person.
Yeah. Which is like they're on meth.
And so Baldy here takes our cowardly lion to another developer who does this kind of stuff all the time to kind of give him a pep talk on, hey, what to expect and to be calm through it and just do what you're there for.
Oh, that's so rude. What a monster.
Ain't that a motherfucker? Hey, I didn't ask for that.
Oh, I didn't want to be better at my job. How dare you? How dare you think that because I'm nervous to be around the public and strangers, like I was around you guys, that I might need a little bit of practice around people or a little bit of a boost for my ego, which clearly has a lot of fractures and I have a lot of weird issues with stuff.
My favorite part of that is that they said, I did go there and I wasn't nervous and I did a great job. And it had nothing to do with the pep talk I got from his friend.
Right.
Well, you can't say that because you had the pep talk from his friend.
Yeah.
You started out nervous, you got the pep talk, and then you weren't nervous, but it was totally all just your doing.
Oh, for sure. Have you heard how awesome I am? I'm pretty awesome. Have I mentioned that? I'm not a nervous person. I just really needed that job.
Well, unfortunately, things go south for this company and they have to have some layoffs. Oh, no, wait, I forgot one. Our cowardly lion here gets put in charge of orientation for new hires. Apparently, the guy who runs this company is an idiot. And during one of these sessions where they give the people free shirts, now they don't say whether they're work shirts or if it's like promotional material. I don't care.
That sounds like promotional material because he said they were giving them like tote bags and shit like that too.
Yeah, because they mentioned lanyards and all kinds of stuff that could go either way, honestly.
Yeah,
but free hats. Stop it. This one group, the shirts were all the wrong size, so he asked somebody, "Hey, can I go get them the right size shirts?" And that person says yes. And so he runs down to get them, and he runs into Baldy, who asks, how come you're not working with the group right now? And he's like, because I had to get the shirts.
Yeah, which, by the way, is a fairly innocuous thing. Like, what are you doing, man? Aren't you supposed to be with a group? What, like, did something go wrong? Is the group not here? That's not an unusual question when people know where
No.
you're generally supposed to be.
And the bald guy is in the same group with the lion at this point.
Yeah, they're part of the same team.
So he's like, hey, how come you're not with the team right now? I have orientation. Oh, cool. That's how that conversation should have been. No, this was a sign of this bastard being a bastard.
Yeah, he was like, I have to go get the right size shirts. Oh, okay.
All right.
Whatever. I don't really care. I was just making small talk.
I'm going to go back to work now.
Yeah, like I can put myself in the bald guy's position and be like, every single thing would just be like, yeah, I don't really care about this. I'm just asking because I have to. So so you don't catch me goofing off.
or even like, hey, I didn't even realize you were here today. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, oh, did your orientation get canceled? Because I got a project I could use some help on. Like there's a dozen reasons that question could be asked. Like you're not even on the right area of the building. You're going to some storage room, and somebody's like, "Hey, what are you doing, man? Thought you had like an orientation. Because if it got canceled, are you doing something else? Am I supposed to be helping you? Can I recruit you for my project? Whatever. It's fucking childish."
Yeah. So it goes on to tell us that the after the layoffs, this person's behavior became worse. They started sharing personal stories about how their wife annoyed them.
That's called getting to know your coworkers. I mean, people talk about their personal lives at work. So fucking what?
This is the quote that they put in a bubble above their coworker's head. We had a little misunderstanding and my spouse started yelling at me. Ha! My response to that was, did you enjoy reliving that 5-year-old tantrum? That shut him up.
I mean,
I'm shocked you didn't run to HR at that moment.
I am too, actually.
I mean, for fuck's sake.
Fucking Gen Z crybaby. But I repeat myself.
Well, it turns out they did run to HR. Oh, wait, I forgot one part. Apparently, this coworker also started expressing that they don't like birds, that they hate birds.
I fucking hate birds, too. This person sounds awesome.
Yeah, it says expressing an obsessive hatred for birds.
Yeah, probably the bird shit on him one day and like was venting about it for a week because I had to take it to my suit to the dry cleaners. You know how much they charge for that?
Now, I just want to remind you guys what we've heard so far. This person, the bad person in the story, suggested that during the interview they sounded nervous, which, by the way, they never got confirmation it was that person. This person offered them support when they were talking about how their family didn't like them anymore. They offered them support by taking them to somebody who's been through what they're about to go through.
Yeah, for the convention thing, yeah.
They asked why you weren't with the group that you should have been with. They said they don't like birds, and they made jokes about their spouse. I'm guessing it's a San Francisco company if they're saying spouse. Their spouse being annoying. And they went to HR over this to express their concerns with the problems they've had with this employee. HR was like, yeah.
And what? Oh, hold on, real quick. Thank you, Dark Resurrect, for that feminist donation. What if the guy was attacked by a bird as a child and has trauma? Think of that, you bigot. Right? There's a lot of reasons people hate birds. You know why I hate birds? Because they're fucking dicks. And they're stupid.
This is a panel. Again, I'm not showing any of the panels with writing in it because you can get in trouble for that on YouTube. It says, now I did try voicing my concerns with my supervisor early on, but they were quick to dismiss my feelings. I would have laughed at you, honestly.
Yeah.
And we're clearly on the coworker's side. I should have known better after noticing similar troubling traits those two shared, but that's a story, and another story I won't get into.
Oh, so you have some sort of issue with other people? That's weird.
Well, it's amazing because one of the first panels we see after they start working there is that everybody was great. In fact, everybody was so great that they immediately realized who the person was that said they seemed nervous. But now at the end of the story, like, no, I tried to tell somebody, but it was a kindred bitch is what it was. After sharing practically everything I endured from this toxic coworker with HR, I made the very difficult decision to not extend my project hire status. You got fired for being a bitch, didn't you?
Yeah, it sounds more like you're a troublemaker.
Yeah.
Who went down and tattled to HR and then quit so you wouldn't get fired for it.
Now, the best...
Oh, they're so mean to me. They hate birds. What?
Other than them saying that you shouldn't mistake their kindness for weakness. No, you are just weak.
Yeah, absolutely.
But beyond that, my favorite part of all of this is at the very end, we get 4 panels where it's just the lion talking to the screen.
Oh, yeah, it's a verbal diarrhea.
It is. And in it,
it's
they
a
tell us...
meme.
Okay, so Jack, this all started during COVID. And even if they only worked there for 2 years, we're well past that. They have been in therapy for years dealing with this.
Yeah, with this coworker that they was moderately a brusque, maybe. Excuse me, sorry.
They have been in therapy for years and are still not over it. And I'm not saying they're not over it because they made a cartoon. They say it. They're still dealing with the trauma. In all seriousness, all kidding aside, Jack, you read the full thing, so you have more context than even some of our audience. Did you read anything in there that should have been traumatizing?
No, this is all normal coworker stuff. Okay, maybe this person, even giving them the worst assessment, this person absolutely hated them. The Baldy hated Lion Boy. There was nothing in there that was worth running to HR about. So the guy was having trouble at home. You're not empathetic to that at all. If you don't like this guy, why are you talking to him at all? You could transfer teams. You could ask that they be transferred, that sort of thing. Not once did they ever mention going to their boss, other than saying that the boss seemed to have some traits similar to Baldy. That none of this stuff is actually worth going to the boss over, because you're gonna be like, this is fucking dumb. You need to grow up.
Isn't it kind of telling that they throw in at the end, I tried going early on to talk to the boss instead of putting that in the chronological order of when it happened?
Yeah, because it makes them look unsympathetic. That's why. By going to the boss and the boss doing nothing shows that there's probably nothing going on here. This person is hypersensitive, that not everybody was fawning over them or exactly like them. So Baldy's a little different than you, maybe slightly socially awkward or something. I'm socially awkward. I get it. Some people don't like being told the truth in the reality of the situation. Baldy didn't do anything that was terribly egregious. They weren't like slashing your tires or sucker punching you in the kidney every time they saw you in the bathroom. You know, you're standing there taking a whiz and he comes up and punches you or puts your stapler in Jell-O or anything.
Wait, it's even worse than that, because their original complaint was that the person was being supportive.
Yeah, but not supportive in a way that empowered him. I think he felt insulted that the guy went out and took the initiative to get them help.
No. Not even that one. The very first thing that he complains about is him telling the guy that that his family is really basically not together anymore. And if you read between the lines, the guy's either gay or trans and the family's conservative, so they They don't want anything to do with them. And the guy's response is, fuck those people, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even dragging him to another. I didn't want to meet new people. I could even kind of understand that. At least that would make some sense. This is literally the guy going, you be you. Like, that son of a bitch told me to be myself. It's insane. This is the kind of fucking people we're raising.
Yeah, weak individuals. I want to go off on that a little bit here in a second. Thank you, Travis Gardner. Bald guy sounds cool. Billy the Fruity Lion is probably still wearing a mask. Yeah, and it's probably one on the face and one on his genitals, too. I gotta keep my wiener safe. No, so a buddy of mine was just telling me, I don't know, 3 or 4 days ago, that he's got to hire some people because part of his team quit.
Yeah.
And he's a hiring manager for like quality control at his job. And he absolutely fucking hates interviewing millennials and Gen Z, mostly Gen Z. And he was telling me, like, okay, we have this protocol book of what you're supposed to do, and they cannot extrapolate based on what's in the book. They need everything spelled out for them. They cannot interpret things for themselves and say, okay, well, this is how we do it for this section. Maybe that carries over to this. There's none of that. They need everything step by step by step, very linear. And if it's not laid out that way, they cannot do it, and they get very frustrated.
Well, we've raised a bunch of idiots
and pussies. Yeah, they can't take criticism. They have no sense of imagination, so that there's no ability to like use one type of problem to fix another. Like if you're, I was doing plumbing today. I have to fix a toilet, and I can extrapolate based on having repaired a sink a little bit about where some of the plumbing goes, right? Then I redid all the plumbing in the basement at the other house. So you can kind of say, okay, well, this worked this way over there. That kind of carries over here, and the general concepts are the same, right? Like, I'm not talking like the in-depth stuff, just the generalities.
Water flow and gravity.
Yeah, they cannot grasp that. And it seems to be a very big problem with this generation that they only, let's face it, a lot of this comes from like pop culture in general. The storylines are very straightforward. They're all Mac from It's Always Sunny.
Mm-hmm.
They need constant references to what happened before because they can't keep up. They can't handle long form narrative. They don't read. They don't have, they're not encouraged to use their imagination and run out and play and build a fort or anything like that. They sit around and play video games on their phone, which are incredibly linear.
Travis Gardner, thank you. Hey, everybody. This week's trauma dump is up on X. You know, you referred to it as a trauma dump as well.
Yeah.
I have trouble calling it that because there's no trauma in there.
Oh, that doesn't stop them from being, I'm so traumatized. It's drama queens. These people are all drama queens. They are victims for the sake of being a victim, because that's what gets attention and sympathy. This person is a giant fucking pussy. They are a victim of their own making, and they are going to have a very difficult life because they are creating their own difficulty. Because nobody apparently ever told them life is going to be hard. Suck it up, baby.
Yeah, it's
I'm growing with to have such little tolerance for this shit.
We saw this with Gen Z when they first pop on the scene. We see this with millennials. They were the start of it. Our generation was the last one that had any kind of spine, and frankly, we weren't all that impressive either.
Oh, true. But life
knew
challenges you.
Yeah, we knew how to do work. I mean, there used to be a saying, you know, anytime we'd see one of these videos of some college reject, I'll wait till the real world gets a hold of them.
Yeah.
That doesn't fly anymore because the real world is treating them the same way they've been treated literally their whole lives.
Yeah. Real quick. Thank you, Travis Gardner. Think that's bad. Try teaching them how to troubleshoot problems without a guide. Yeah, that's what my buddy was saying. He's like, they need everything written down. And if it's not written down, they can't, like, if somebody isn't there to hold their hand, they can't do it. They have no self-confidence and everything is against them. If it's hard, they immediately say it can't be done and you're picking on them. And then they go tell the HR because he's had a couple of those meetings.
You're not allowed to be mean at all, and what is considered mean is in the eyes of the beholder.
Yeah, because anytime you tell them no or that's incorrect, you're being mean. They see that as an attack. It's a direct attack against their very being, not just like, oh, okay, well, I screwed up, I gotta fix that, I gotta learn how to do this the right way. There's none of that. There's no taking of responsibility. It's always someone else's fault. There's no saying, I don't know how to do something, please show me. There's no assuming that the person that's been there for 20 years might know a thing or two because they just arrived and you're a fucking old, useless hack. You don't know how we do it now, what the kids are doing. And I'm sounding like my dad, and it's kind of freaking me out a little bit here, but I'm so tired of this shit. Stop being such a fucking pussy. God, I hate these people. It's no wonder he had a cat for a fucking avatar because he's a giant fucking pussy.
I don't know why the person who shared this blocked out the user's name. I don't see what's wrong with this at all. But it's kind of similar. It says, do married people watch Gen Z dating and feel like they caught the last chopper out of Nam?
Yeah, I think so. I think they do.
I feel that way as a Gen Xer about a lot of stuff, especially I look at the education system that way.
Yeah. Oh, it's sad how little they teach people now. Like, I learned a lot hanging out with my grandparents because, after school we were getting babysat by the grandparents, that sort of thing. And they'd put us to work. Like, hey, we're making snipple beans for canning today.
Yeah.
Go sit on the board and crank that thing. Let's go. So, you're running a grinder. But we learned a lot. Like, we learned how to do canning and we learned practical things. Dad would let us hang out while he was working on the car, stuff like that, and ask ridiculously stupid questions. But they don't seem to have any interest in learning how anything works. So it's all mystifying. It might as well be magic to them.
I hear what you're saying. I don't know that they don't have an interest in learning how things work. They just don't have the thought process to even consider it.
Well, they're not taught anything. They're not taught to be curious. They're not taught to think through problems.
Well,
There's
look at that
thinking.
Look at the backlash that one teacher got, and we saw he's been fired since. The one who spoke with one of his students who said that J.K. Rowling was transphobic, and he's like, okay, how? Give me an example of how. And so the guy goes up and he brings out a tweet that the guy, he's like, this is what she said, and I forget the exact tweet. And he goes, okay, well, what's transphobic about that? And the guy's answer was, well, that's what people have been saying. And all the teacher did was get this kid to think, to use his own goddamn brain. And he's done the same thing because I saw a discussion he actually had with another teacher about Elon Musk, because the other teacher was like, Elon Musk is Satan. Yeah. And he got that guy to do the same thing. Just think for yourself a little bit. Is what you just said reality? And that guy ends up fired because he was teaching people how to think. He never led them by the hand at all. If you go back to the one with the transphobia and J.K. Rowling, he's like, his question wasn't anything pointed. It was just, how is that transphobic? Use your brain and tell me how that is transphobic. He didn't say it was or wasn't. We watched the whole clip. The guy didn't lead this kid at all. He just asked him questions that the kid should have thought about himself.
Yeah. Yeah. But nope, just take everything at face value and move on with your day, because they're not taught to question anything. It's such a dangerous mentality. That's civilizational collapse waiting to happen when you have an entire generation that way, that is so unaware and incapable of thinking through situations from multiple angles, you're leading into a dangerous path, and it's never going to end well.
Because of a tweet that I saw, and I'll read the first part of it. It says, right wingers are fully aware of what non-right wing media outlets say. Libs often have absolutely no idea what goes on right wing media. They have no understanding of what right wingers actually think. And then it goes on to talk about how that's why they're shocked about what's going on with Biden and the press coverage, because they're all convinced that Biden, they're just out to get Biden. Somebody actually put up a thing today that said, basically the head of every media corporation, including MSNBC, are Trump donors. They start out by saying that the CEO of CNN is a Trump donor. The CEO of CNN is a British national. He can't legally donate to Trump. Y'all know that, right?
That's a bigot attitude there, monkey.
But I responded to that by pointing out a game I like to play. It's amazing how many times that I speak to somebody on Twitter and their initial response is, you need to stop watching Fox News.
Yeah.
And the game I play is to simply go, you need to stop watching Fox News. And they'll go, I never watch that shit. And how the fuck do you know what they're saying?
Rachel Maddow tells them.
I've been doing this since my days back on the Bill Maher board, which is like 2004. He's like, why do you watch so much Fox News? I don't watch Fox News. Well, then how do you know that's what they're saying? Because I was told.
Because Media Matters tells me.
Yeah, and that's literally what it is. They don't put any thought into it. They never go and actually look into what they're talking about. They just fucking repeat.
Yeah, it's really sad.
It's literal just sheep. And that's what they're raised to be. They really are. You're not, and we see more and more of it. How many of these teachers have we watched where they get very proud of their students for being retarded?
Oh, too many. When they're not trying to touch their kids or making them tards.
It's great to see them stand in solidarity. That's what you want to see from your students as a teacher. Them standing in solidarity. What if they're standing in solidarity for racism?
Well, no, they're anti-racist, monkey. They only hate white people.
Yeah. It's fine to be racist as long as it's no power or privilege, and don't pay any attention to the fact that we have all the power and privilege right now.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's a hate fact, sir.
Pride for being average. It's not even pride for being average, bud. It's pride for being stupid.
Yeah, I would call it sub-average at minimum.
Yeah.
I mean,
well
that's
below.
their high achievers.
These are kids who couldn't pass a test to spell their name. Yeah, exactly, Dangerous. It's great to see all my students thinking exactly the same, because that's how, progress happens.
Nothing says progress like hive mind.
Exactly.
Communism.
It's just so frustrating because I can't imagine being somebody who hires these days.
Oh God, it's got to be horrific. I feel bad for young people in the workforce, because they are in for very rude awakenings.
But they're not.
Well, no, eventually this stuff is unsustainable. At some point, it's going to fail. Maybe not for another decade or two, but it can't keep going at this rate. And these people will have to deal with that. They're not going to have marketable job skills. A lot of these people are leaving college with $60,000, $70,000 in debt, and they're getting like barista jobs.
But when it comes to what they actually have to deal with, you have a whole society set up now to tell them that their feelings are always justified. They shouldn't have treated you that way. I can't believe anybody would, be supportive of you. And look, I'm with them on that. I can't believe anybody would have supported him in that instance either. But that's not what the reality of what we're talking about. The reality is these people are coddled now from cradle to grave.
Yeah. It almost makes me think that maybe we should have a communist revolution.
Yeah.
because it would thin a lot of these people out. Like, I'll fall in line pretty quickly. So that gulag is going to be very comfy for me because I'll last like 24 hours before I'm put against the wall. But these kids have no idea what sort of things they advocate for because they don't have that foresight. And I kind of want them to experience that consequence and the shock that comes with it. As long as I get to look to the right and see the look of sheer terror on some non-binary purple-haired weirdo, I'll die a happy man. Is that wrong?
The chances of the long-term consequences affecting you and me, we're getting old, Jack.
Oh yeah, look, we're gonna die.
It's not that big of a deal, but long-term, this is China. You just come take us over.
Oh, they walk right in Portland and just misgender people into winning.
Yeah, they literally cry.
Yeah, you hurt my feelings. Bang, right in the face.
Comrade Kitty, thank you so much for that Independence Day donation, our freedom donation. Society got weird. Fox. Hang on. Society got weird. Fox used to claim, oh my God, alien sex for Mass Effect 130's side boob in whole game, and now everyone just overlooks a bear and a player in Baldur's Gate 3, but games are for kids, right? Well, Baldur's Gate is definitely not for kids.
Yeah, Matt Walsh would disagree with you, sir.
I mean, I get what you're getting at there with things getting weird. There's a lot more that's acceptable. I would more point towards, grown men naked on bicycles in front of children at a parade. But I get what you're getting at there. No, not all games are for kids. That's like saying movies are for kids, right? I mean, Debbie Does Dallas is technically a movie. You probably shouldn't show it to a 3-year-old.
Cartoons are for kids, right?
Again, cartoons were originally for adults at movie theaters.
What? No, history? I don't think so, mister.
Yeah. That's why they dealt with so many adult topics. Disney really makes that into a thing for kids. No, the issue is that they're so soft. We saw those people. Oh, excuse me. Could everybody please stop clapping? That triggers some people. Remember to just do jazz hands.
Oh my God. You saw how much they got done because point of personal privilege every 10 seconds. They got nothing accomplished because they're fucking idiots.
Because they have no idea what a real problem is.
No, they don't. And I like to think that at some point they're going to find out. Because, oh my God, if we ever do enter into a big war, they're going to get drafted and it's going to be rough. A lot of them are going to die because they're just too incompetent at life.
What I would really like to see is an EMP blast take out electricity in the United States for a good month and a half.
I would settle for just California.
No, because I don't want them to be able to just go to the state next door and be back to their little privileged life. I want to see these people have to actually figure out how to live.
That would be damn near impossible. Look, in an EMP event like that in the whole country, within 6 months, 90% of the population will be dead anyway, just due to disease and people not knowing how to repair things or survive in general. But these type of people are going to be the first ones to die because they will be paralyzed with terror. They have no concept of anything to do.
I mean, these are people who get like dangerously triggered because somebody looked at me. I don't remember if it was on this show or a different one where we were talking the other day about a woman. Maybe you and I talked about it off stream, but a woman with her little TikTok video to show how she's being stared at the gym. And it was actually a blind guy.
Yeah.
He wasn't even looking at her and he had headphones in, so he couldn't hear the bitch. I said, I can't believe this dude is just staring at me like that. Okay, let's say he wasn't blind and he was actually. What are you too good to look at?
Yeah, you're in public. What did you expect? And you're probably dressed like a fucking tart anyway.
I mean, people get mad at me because I said that People who are walking around with headphones on and expect everybody to just leave them alone should keep their fucking bitch ass at home where they don't have to be bothered by, the population they're walking through. But it's the same thing. It's narcissistic bullshit. How dare you interrupt what I was trying to do?
Yeah.
I was listening to a book on tape about how to have self-esteem. You don't.
Yeah, it's so frustrating to have to see these people get coddled like this, though, because you have to think that at some point that shit has to come to an end. It's not sustainable.
You keep saying that, but it won't, because it's just getting worse and worse. And the more we think it's not, the more it happens. I mean,
yeah, but at some point you can't function as a society. You're going to get nothing accomplished. You're going to regress.
Hey, that's what we have AI for, man.
Oh, dear God, that's horrifying.
That's what we have robots to
look,
shit for.
I'm already a nihilist. Are you trying to make me sink further into that? Because, collapsitarianism is looking better and better. And I, for one, at this point, might welcome our Chinese overlords.
I would welcome some strife. I mean, we're dealing with the inflation. That should have been something that sent us into a spiral, and it hasn't, because everybody's still so self-fucking absorbed.
Yeah, well, the government keeps bailing people out.
Yep.
So until that stuff stops, it's going to continue.
That is where you might see some real change, is when the government can no longer subsidize this stupidity. I mean, in all seriousness, the college courses that are so popular these days, if they were left on their own, if DEI didn't become a thing, if HR departments didn't pop up everywhere, the people getting those degrees would have literally no marketable skills.
Well, a lot of them still don't.
Oh, they do, though, because HR departments are everywhere. Not only HR departments, you get an HR department and a DEI department and an equity department. A completely separate equity department from the diversity, equity, and inclusion department.
It makes me sad that this is yeah.
And everybody
I had a little bit of hope when you crushed it.
Everybody gets on board so that you're not the bad guy who said, hey, suck it up, because you're not supposed to say it. You got to care about people's feelings. You understand people have bad feelings sometimes, right? You don't want to make them cry, do you? Yeah, actually, I want to make a lot of people cry.
I do too. It's why we get along so well. All right, guys, hit the like button, share this on your social media, subscribe if you haven't, and if you're feeling generous, toss us a couple bucks, because I need to restock my doomsday supplies so I don't have to interact with people and I can become a hermit full time.
China can barely keep their own people in line. I doubt they could do it with a medium-sized country, let alone America as well. Oh, but Evolved Potato, you're suggesting that there might be some pushback. At this point, half of America would just go along with it because, hey, they're communists. They obviously take care of their people.
Yeah, I mean, you get the food.
You in the bread lines, you get the bread. Next day, and it's moldy. But yeah, I mean, I want to be of the opinion, Jack, that someday it'll change. Someday these people will wake up. Someday this nonsense will stop. I just don't see it coming. I used to be one of those people who said, oh, just wait till the real world gets a hold of these folks. And then the real world started laughing at me.
Well, I don't think that's the real world, though. The real world is what's going on in places like third world Africa and Russia. Totalitarianism is more the norm. I honestly think we need to start shipping some of these people overseas and just ditching them there. Be like, find your way home.
I agree. I've long been an advocate of the Somalia plan. Drop them off. They're not allowed to leave for at least 6 months, but after 6 months, if they come back, we'll talk.
You know what? I'm actually fine with not having any requirement, just letting them find their way back, because they're too incompetent to do that most of the time.
Now, see, I hear you, but I think just following the leader, some sheep will find a quick way out and they'll just all do it. And no, they have to serve their time. They need real strife in their life.
They do.
And you used to even be able to go, well, these people need to serve some time in the military. That's what they used to do with shitty people. Like, put them in the military. They'll learn some discipline. Not allowed to have discipline in the military anymore.
Yeah.
Instead, we have gay moms.
Oh, God. Yeah. What are they doing, man? Seriously, if one of our enemies really took a close look at us, really analyzed us, they would invade us. We have so many resources here that are just untapped that they could exploit. And such a passive workforce with these cowards and pussies.
The thing is, they don't have to invade. They don't.
No, but I mean, they would gain more by conquest, I think.
They can get everything they want just through pressure, because we're a stupid society. You had people on July 4th going out there going, America's never had freedom for everybody in 2024.
Yeah.
There's not equal rights for everyone. Yeah, there is.
Where would you like to go? Like, what country is your idealized version then? Because you're never going to have perfection. They want this grand utopian vision that cannot exist.
Well, that's part of it, but the other part is it's always about just them. The time I run into that argument the most is when I'm discussing abortion. And it's like, women don't have the same rights as men. All right, name the one they don't have. They don't have reproductive. They never say abortion because men can't have abortions. So they always say reproductive freedom. Okay, which reproductive? You have more birth control options than I do. I get condoms. That's my option. You have the pill, the IUDs, the sponge, Depro, all kinds of shit. The pill, and even abortion. You have everything, and I get, here, put this plastic over your wiener so you really can't feel where it is.
Well, that's because men aren't supposed to enjoy sex because they're patriarchy.
And so it's always, we don't have the same rights. Well, what right are you missing? And at that question, they can never name it because they're not missing any rights. And in fact, they want more. I can't abort a baby. I'd be thrown in jail for murder.
Yeah. Well, and you don't know how to use the coat hanger correctly.
I know how stairs work.
Oh, that's right. You are a stair master.
I am an expert in falling downstairs.
True.
So, I mean, that's what it is. That they are so self-fucking absorbed. It's only about them. And it doesn't matter how much they get. They need more. Everything's got to be bent to their will. And for some reason, society went, yeah, let's bend to their will instead of telling them to grow the fuck up.
Just don't understand how this is continuing. It really is. It blows my mind, man. I shouldn't be shocked anymore. But every now and then, just something like this stupid fucking lion cartoon gets under my skin. It's just a little. It's just like a little grain of sand under there, like he's itching at you.
Well, it's because we watch things like that Starbucks barista crying because she had an 8-hour shift.
It's funny you said that because I just shared that video with a couple of my friends, and one of them being the dude I was just talking about. And they're like, "Oh my god, yeah, this is the whole generation, isn't it?" I was like, "Yes,
it is. Yes,
it really is." These spoiled little brats, and some of them are in their 20s and 30s now. It's disturbing, and I want to change it. I don't know how. I don't have the answer. I wish I did. Nobody'd listen to me anyway, and I'd probably get sued into oblivion like Alex Jones. But something has to change. People need to wake the fuck up and do better with the next generation. Because these Gen Zers, they're lost cause. We're not fixing them.
I think you got to pick somewhere to start, right?
Yeah.
And the first thing that should be done is HR departments need to be outlawed. I think you have to start there, and then you work your way back to college. Now, if you want the most impact, you just ban college because they're garbage now. If it's not for a professional degree like a doctor, a lawyer, an accountant, something like that, nobody gets to go to college because it's a waste of fucking time and it's just indoctrinating, brainwashing bullshit.
Well, if they you don't even have to go that far. Just stop the requirement of having a degree.
Well, the problem with that, and I do agree with you that is a massive problem. The issue there is that's not like a federal law or anything.
Yeah, but
Everybody just decided to do it.
because so much of this is cultural, it's not actually legal. It's got nothing to do with the legal system per se. It's a societal issue where we just got together and we're like, that sounds like a good idea. Let's do that, and it doesn't work.
Just stop covering the student loans. That would be a great thing too. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be that should be something done right away anyway. Because how much money are we pissing away on worthless degrees?
How about the only money that can be spent on repaying college loans is money earned directly from the degree you got?
Ooh, I like your thinking. Um, I would continue to not pay on my debt then.
But you're not. Yeah, you're not using your English degree.
No.
So yeah. Oh God, HR is worse. HR is one of the biggest problems we've had. It doesn't get talked about enough, and it started before HR was really even a thing. Thank you, Anita Hill, you horrible, horrible whore.
Yeah.
It really started with women entering the workforce, like we can be just like men, and then they get in the workforce, like you guys have to change everything because we're here. When you're talking about the workforce, that's where it all starts.
Yeah.
This is the mid to late 80s, the massive amount of women who come into the workforce, all under the guise that we were just like men. Nothing's going to change because we can do everything you do. Oh my God, is that a calendar with a naked woman on it? Like, yeah, it's an auto shop. That's what we do. We can't have that here. I have my own titties, and if I see others, I just get so jealous I have to stab my cat. And
it sounds like somebody from HR, yeah.
You can make the argument, oh, well, nudity doesn't need to be there anyway. It doesn't need to be there, but it was behind the scenes. It wasn't out on the shop floor offending customers. It just offended this fucking crazy bitch we hired. Nobody was offended. We've had to change everything, how we speak, how we express. I mean, even to the point where people have gotten in trouble for having pictures of their family on their desk because somebody got offended by it. Look it up. That's a real thing. That offends me. Fuck you. How's that for offensive? Yeah. Get fucked by the biggest dildo you can find and get 2 of them.
You don't like it? Don't work here. Real quick. Thank you, Alan, for the donation. He says, hello, Jack. Hi, Alan. Hope you're doing well.
HR's whole job is to coddle the very people we're talking about, Jack.
Yep.
Their whole job is to make the world safe for those assholes. And those assholes need a less safe world. And no, I'm not saying somebody should harm them. They need to realize what real problems are.
Yeah, they need to... we need to stop aiming everything at the lowest common denominator.
But you know, if we tried changing these things right now, I don't think it would last because none of these people could handle it.
Yeah, I think they would. There would be a lot of people dying because they literally do not know how to survive on their own.
Dude that sent a rocket meteor got canceled for his heavy metal shirt. It wasn't even a heavy metal shirt, was it? It was just one that had really pretty girls on it that was given to him by a woman.
Yeah, it was so like almost like a 50s kind of cheesecake.
Yeah.
Images. It wasn't anything like really offensive. I thought it was kind of a cool shirt for like a Hawaiian style shirt.
Way too busy for me, but I can see it. Alan, thank you so much. He says, morning, Monkey Kid. Morning, sir. HR is the reason I still see the same dumbass working for 6 more months of mistakes. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
HR's whole job is to make it so that people who should not be around other people are tolerated. And not just tolerated, catered to.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're horrible, horrible people, and HR is a problem. A lot of people are going after the DEI departments, and we've even seen some of those starting to close down because they violate federal law. and that's a great start, but the DEI is just a symptom of HR.
Yeah, it's going to take a generation to untangle this mess because it took several generations to get it started. And unless there's a giant revolt where there's an actual civil war or something, this stuff's not going to change. Not
I
for
was
a
just
while.
I was just taken back to that re-review of the Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer from New Rockstars, and how mad Eric Voss was about how Johnny Storm, that's his name, right?
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Did I get it right for once?
Yeah.
Fuck me. How Johnny Storm, the Human Torch, how he was hitting on that girl even though she showed no interest in him. He just kept doing it. Like you mean he flirted with her? And he was so pissed off about it. Like, this is not, I mean, the sensibilities have changed. That's where we are. He didn't like grab her ass or squeeze her titties, and he just was flirty with her.
Yeah. And it's not like she was like, oh my God, get this guy away from me.
And this is where we are, that is so goddamn offensive. And yeah, that comes from the HR mentality.
Yeah. I
Look
have
at,
a bad feeling a lot of those older movies are going to start getting memory hold,
oh yeah.
because they'll do what Disney does, just vault them, and you'll see like a limited release of them, and then when there's a problem, somebody complains about it, there'll be an edited version that starts showing up, like Netflix did with Back to the Future 2.
Oh
With
yeah.
that one pinup scene that wasn't even nude, and they gave you the TV version of it, and then it'll slowly stop being offered on streaming services or available for purchase. The
Wait.
DVD copies will stop being produced at all, and it'll just be forgotten. Like several episodes of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia that aren't available on like Amazon.
Yeah. Assassin of the Grey says she was being responsive to Johnny Storm's advances. No. You and I might be able to look at that and go, oh, she's clearly interested. She's playing hard to get. Kind of like Leia in Empire Strikes Back, where she's clearly not completely opposed to Han. She's fighting her desire for him. That is only allowed in women's literature now. In women's literature, I mean, you can still have guys basically rape a woman and they get together in the end and like, oh, it's a romance story. Anything outside of that, though, no. If she doesn't immediately go, I want your junk, then she doesn't want it, and you should never speak to her again, ever, because you're a bad man with a penis. What we've done to the dating scene is absolutely fucking insane.
Yeah, dating sucks.
I mean, I know I go to it a lot, but that one article we read about that poor woman who she got her liberal man, Jack, and he asked every step of the way. And what did it do? It annoyed the shit out of her. Because she's like, I was giving him all the clues. You've taught him not to take any of the clues, sweetheart.
Yeah, it's dangerous to follow the clues without getting permission.
He asked, could he take off my sweater? And I said, yeah. And then he asked if he could put his hand under my shirt. And I said, yeah. And then he asked if he could touch my breast. And I had to say, yeah, again. Yeah, it's what you fucking idiots have told people to do.
Yeah, he doesn't want to catch a charge, lady. Because you just later on be like, I didn't say yes to that. So clearly it was rape.
Who was it? There's a news anchor. I forget which one it was, who came out and admitted their sexual assault that they'd done before. And here's the assault. He was at a party with a chick, and they went into a bedroom where they sat on a bed together, and he tried to kiss her, and she said no. That's the end of the story.
Oh, what a monster.
That wasn't in any way sexually wrong. He misread some clues. She said no, so he didn't do anymore. That's the end. But you're not allowed. It was Milo who pointed this out years and years ago. Like, you're not allowed to just be an awkward person anymore.
No. Oh, God, no.
You have to have everything written in triplicate and notarized and probably signed by the president. He doesn't know anyway, so it's not a big deal to get his signature. But yeah, you're not allowed to be awkward anymore. You're not allowed to misread a clue. And again, he didn't push it further than that. He didn't try to kiss her again or do it at another time. No. None of that. Hard to get doesn't exist anymore. No. Except for when the women want to play hard to get. And then, why won't the men chase me?
Because it's too dangerous.
Because rapist got a long term in prison. Unless you're in Hollywood and it was a child. Jack, on that, we'll wrap this one up.
Oh yeah, sorry, we got way off target on that one.
No, I like having these conversations from time to time because it is important stuff still.
I think the real lesson here is that Gen Z sucks. Their art and culture sucks because they're terrible at everything and they're stupid. That's I think what I came up with today.
You're not wrong, but for the record, I still think the millennials are worse, and here's why. Millennials had a better example to look at. Millennials had the generations before them that weren't so fucking coddled.
Yeah.
And they turned out that way. Gen Z has millennials to look up to. I mean, them emulating the bad behavior of the generation right before them, that's just human.
Yeah. I feel bad for the Gen Zers in our audience that are like normal people because they're getting lumped in with these clowns. But you're right. The millennials they embraced this lifestyle. Gen Zers were taught it.
Yeah. Well, look, I call our generation lazy, and there's clearly plenty of Gen Xers who are hardworking folks. But as a general rule, we were known for being lazy. So, yeah, when we use terms like millennial and talk about what shitbags they are, we don't think every millennial's a shitbag.
No, it's
just a lot of
broad general statement. The majority are shitbags, not all of you guys.
So, I mean, it is what it is, I guess. Yay. One of these idiots is going to not be changing my diapers. See, that's the thing. That's another thing people say. One day, these guys are going to be changing my diapers. No, they're not. They're going to leave you in that. What are you talking about? They don't clean up their own messes.
Yeah. Wait till they start constructing bridges, dude.
Oh, God. Look, I do think that there's at least enough still smart people. Because, again, not all Gen Z's that bad.
Yeah, but for now, I mean, how many generations of stupid do you have before you hit idiocracy levels where there's just enough technology around that still functions, but it's all collapsing and no one knows how to fix it?
I still think anyone under 30 shouldn't vote. Oh, here's just a quick aside. I was speaking with my daughter the other day, and she goes, I'm finally on the train that only property owners should vote. And it concerns a millage around where she lives. And of course, the people who have no stake in the game, they're all for spending other people's money. For those of you who don't know what a millage is, it's where you, usually for schools in these areas, in this neck of the woods, like, okay, we need a new high school. We're going to put a millage out there for $30 million, and property owners get to pay for that with their property taxes. And a whole bunch of people who don't own any fucking property get a vote on that.
Yep. I think that's bullshit.
It absolutely is.
I totally understand why the founders wanted property owners to be voters. You had a stake in the game. Renters don't. They can just trash the place and walk away.
We got our tax bill.
Squatters.
We got our summer tax bill today, and I looked at it, and all I can say, bullshit.
Yeah. Oh man, I paid Dad's house property tax, and I was like, oh my god, what the fuck? It's like $200 more than last time.
No, Assassin of the Gray, not village, millage with an M. Millage. Yeah, these assholes, they love spending my money.
Well, of course, they don't have to pay for it. You do.
Jack, I live in a town with less than 3,000 people. And there was a millage about, God, back in the 90s, where they wanted to build a new high school because the one, what they called the upper elementary school, was a dilapidated piece of shit and needed torn down. So what they wanted to do is move the fourth and fifth graders over into the middle school, the middle school kids into the high school, and then build a brand new state-of-the-art high school with 8 special education rooms in it. A town of less than 3,000 people, Jack. 8 special ed rooms. And I forget how many computer labs they wanted. They wanted to spend like $35 million on this school. The
What?
high school I went to in Virginia that housed 4,000 people didn't cost $35 million.
Yeah, were they hiding gold in the walls?
This is a dirty place up here when it comes to local politics.
So I was gonna say, there's some shenanigans. This is somebody's cousin getting kickbacks.
They rent out some of the school's property to administrators at
Mhm.
basically no cost, where they're allowed to build giant houses on it and live there forever.
Yeah, it sounds right.
Yeah. Downsyshire, yeah. Eight
So it's
goddamn.
the millage of the damned.
Yes. The graduating classes around here have like 100 people in them.
Yeah.
If you do the math on that, that means there's probably about 500 kids in the school, and they needed 8 classrooms that can hold 20 kids each, and that's a small classroom. You're talking about more than a quarter of the population they're calling retarded?
Well, I mean, some of them are a little behind.
Luckily, that one got shot down.
I would hope so, because it sounds like they're just stealing money.
They tried for years to get a new high school built, and it finally got rejected until they're like, fine, we'll just build a new elementary school. We'll add on to the elementary school. And so that one did get put through because it was needed. The one building, I went to it when I lived here when I was in 4th grade. And yeah, calling that building dangerous is being kind.
Dangerous. You were getting picked on a lot today. No, I get what you're saying, but they always have to go for these exorbitant amounts because they're sneaking in their pay raises, and all that other shit, all the accoutrements that they don't need, and it's their wish list.
It's insane, man. But yeah, property owners should be the ones voting. We're the ones that are paying for it. Now, I know some of you are like, wait, I pay sales tax. All right, you can vote on stuff that sales tax is used to pay for. How about that? We'll have a special I pay sales tax assembly.
Yeah, well, it'd be like the everybody meeting, and then the people that actually have an investment meeting. Also, I don't think you should have property taxes. You already bought it. Fuck off.
I agree. I don't think property tax should be a thing.
Yes, just like inheritance taxes or state taxes, I guess they're called now.
How in the hell can something I own be taken away from me for not paying more for it?
Yeah, that sounds distinctly un-American to me.
It's very un-American. And yeah, property taxes should be done away with. And if you're gonna, if you need that tax money, it should just be the full-on tax for everybody.
Yeah. Better raise that sales tax.
Mm-hmm. But you don't want to do that because those people outnumber property owners, and you need those voters.
Yeah.
Go out there and tell everybody that, hey, your grocery bill is going up 2 cents on every dollar because we're going to make sure these guys aren't getting, robbed to pay for your kids' education. I'm not against taxes. I'm not. And I know that tax is theft. It's tax is not theft. But it is something that should be used as minimally as possible.
Yeah, and that's why I like a lot of the places like Tennessee where they don't have income tax. They have regular like sales taxes and like hospitality taxes, because those are things you're not required to do. You don't have to have that $4 pop or your $8 coffee. If you don't want to pay the tax on it, don't buy it. You're not required to.
Anyway, we are wrapping up, guys. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us. Thank you for the donations. You guys are so, so kind. Jack, anything you want to show?
I don't get anything done anymore. I don't know. No, I got nothing. But thank you guys so much for the donations. You guys are awesome. And sorry I got all ranty and bitchy today. I don't know what's going on. That stupid cartoon, man, with the dumb-looking lion.
I'm okay with limiting voting to those impacted. Sales tax, income tax, everyone votes. If it's property taxes, fees, then those who pay it vote on it. Well, if we got rid of property tax, we wouldn't even have to have that discussion. And that is the biggest problem with it, is that everybody gets to vote how my tax money is spent. And that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah, with a sales tax, we're all in on that. Everybody has to pay sales tax unless the federal government's paying it through the EBT program. But at least then you can go, well, there's some that came out of the money that they would have gotten that went to tax. Okay, fair enough. But the rest of it, man, god damn. Anyway, guys, thanks for joining us, Jack. A pleasure as always, my friend.
Always glad to be here.
Guys, have a wonderful night. Take care of yourselves. We will see you next time.
Bye, everybody.
I hope your pee-pee gets touched, but not by that guy who thinks it's not gay to do so. I'm going to sing a song now so you guys know to go. I do this most nights at the end of this show. Most of them are dumb, and I make them as I go. Everyone's fucked your mom 'cause she's a dirty hoe.